And today's topic is fuck your statistics. And the reason why we say that is because there's a lot heaped on single moms and young moms. You know, the average net worth of a single black woman is $5.
All right, this is going to be a very sexy Saturday. I have 3BC, these three beautiful black chocolate ladies. They say everything you want to say, but maybe don't have the guts to say it. So it's a podcast. The podcast is doing really well. And with podcasts, people like to be, anonymous because they got jobs, they got families. And so they honored me today with doing a video on my YouTube channel. So I'm grateful for them. So I'm going to have Joy Dawes, who I've been knowing for a long time. She's going to introduce 3BC and introduce the mask and the sunglasses. So Joy?
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us, Charlotte.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate it. I have my BCs here. We're again from 3BC Podcast on the Kazuki Network, and I have my mystery ladies here, Casey the Alchemist and Chloe. And the reason why they are a mystery is because one, everybody don't need to know everything, and two, names and identities have been changed and slightly subdued to protect the innocent, and in the case of these two, not so innocent. So there you have it.
ladies.
And I'm Chloe, by the way.
I'm sorry, yes, Casey the Alchemist is in the plumes, and Chloe is in the blackout glasses.
Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Hello.
Okay.
So happy to be here.
So I invited you ladies on here because of my video, Single Moms Stop It. There are good men out here. And the point for me making that video is sometimes single moms, I understand they're lonely, they're looking for love, and a lot of times they're looking for a husband, or a new father, and they forget that their kids, especially if they're having young boys, they forget that they still need a male figure, a good male figure, to help them, with the kid, to help raise them through mentoring. And when I put this video out, I don't understand why all these men, I had you guys watch it and look at the comments, but all of these guys were in their feelings about the relationship. I'm not even talking about dating. I'm not saying for nobody to, take care of some kids that you don't want to take care of. I'm talking about mentoring. But I realized that there are a lot of men that are really hurt out there. I don't know what did happen to them. I don't know if they've been with single moms and they've been feeling used or abused because they're not hearing the word mentoring. Now, for me, luckily, when my mom and my dad divorced, I had a great grandfather. I had great uncles. She made sure we had male figures in our lives. And they took me fishing. They did things with me. They protected me. And I was grateful for that because my dad wasn't around. It didn't mean I didn't have a good male figure. So I don't know how many of you guys are moms and single moms, but I had to bring you guys on here because I'm not a mother. People love to say, well, you don't understand because you ain't got no kids. So I was like, well, let me bring some women on here who got some kids. Okay. So what did you guys think of the video? And what do you guys feel about the comments?
Well, first thing I want to say, as far as the comments go, is I feel like those men have forgotten that they are also someone's son. And when they go into a relationship, you are asking someone who also doesn't necessarily want to raise another person's child to take care of you. And from what I saw, that's exactly what they would be doing, is trying to raise a grown man. So I want them to sit on that for a second because I saw a whole lot of immaturity and childishness in those comments. Also, I have a son. I have a grown adult son who has two sons. And what you're saying is exactly correct. I have not been married for quite some time, but that doesn't mean that my son went without some sort of mentorship or some sort of male figure. He had some really good male figures in his life, and they were not people that I was dating. One of my best friends, her husband, she had she had 3 sons at that time when they first got married. He took my son under his wing. He taught him about wearing cologne and taking care of himself, you know, just being a little man. And then I had another really good friend who was married. He didn't have kids at that time, but him and his wife, they love children. He took my son to get a haircut. He took him to church when I couldn't go. He taught him how to read the Bible and understand it, you know. So he took my kids to brunch. I mean, there are good men out there. Just because I did not have good partners meant that my son went without. And these aren't men necessarily, I'm trying to date you behind your wife's back or anything like that. It's just they were like, hey, look, let me take him in and show him some manly type things. And I got it, you good. And to this day, my daughter-in-law will tell you, my son is a good dude. People say, oh, single moms, they can't raise boys. You can't teach boys how to be men. I taught my son how to play basketball. I taught my son how to fight. I also taught my son how to cook and sew and wash his clothes. You know, there are some things I cannot teach him, especially about how to deal with his feelings and male hormones and being interested in anyone, male or female, you know, whatever sexual attraction, when you feel that as a young boy. I can't teach him about those things, no. But he did have people who I was not involved with teach him those things. So you were 100% correct.
Yes. And all I'm saying to single mothers is sometimes take a break from looking for a lover and ensure that your kids is getting a balance, a female and a male in the house. Just take a break, because you could spend so much time looking for that perfect mate and you may never find him. Meanwhile, you're neglecting your kid from some male, representation or male agent. And a lot of times, you know, they were saying in the comments, oh, well, their mother and their brother and their husband. Sometimes women don't have anybody. Sometimes it's just them. They don't have a good father. They don't have a father. They don't have brothers. They don't have uncles. It's just them. So that's the reason why big brothers and big sisters and all these organizations where you have, you know, people that mentor is important. So find a mentor. And I just, for the life of me, I know there's some trolls out there, but some of those commenters, some of those men are hurt. And I just was like,
definitely hurt. Yeah.
Hurt, right?
Men though.
Yeah. I'm going to let Joy, the other mother, speak, and then I'll speak from a single perspective.
Okay.
Well, Joy, before you get started, let me also add to your point, Charlotte. I was active duty at that time. My kids and I, we spent a lot of time overseas. So there was no brother. Well, I'm an only child also. There's no brother, there's no uncle, there's no grandfather, there's nobody. So I have to make do with the community that I have. There is no one else around to just pick up and who is a blood relation to me or him and to pick up and just help with him. So you're correct there also. Sometimes you have to make the best of the situation that you're in, and that means there may not be a blood relative available to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Joy?
I was going to point out too that girls need male energy as well.
Yes.
It's not just boys. I mean, obviously, as they get older, you have to be more careful about the type of men and male energy you allow to their lives, because there's a different kind of dynamic with girls, right? I mean, not that it can't happen with boys, but you know, you have to be a little more watchful with girls. So I wanted to point that out first, but as I was looking at the video and some of those ignorant comments, I was like, the two things that came to mind were accountability and absolution. So living in the middle of those two big boxes, right? Yes, women have to take accountability for their choices. Yes, we do have to make better choices, but that does not absolve men from being better men and being better people in general. So there we have to live in between those two spaces. Yes, be accountable. Yes, make better choices. But sometimes you're young and sometimes you just don't know till you know, right? And sometimes you want to believe, you want to believe the best about this person. So, you know, I really struggle with the make better choices argument. So I saw a lot of that going on in there, and I really did not appreciate that. But I also want to point out too that every single mom isn't thirsty. I find this to be challenging. They're not looking, every single mom's not looking for an Insta family. Every single mom's not out here thirsty. Every single mom is not out here, especially, I don't know if anybody saw Bridget Jones, but the smug marrieds. Every single mom is not to the smug marrieds, particularly the women. Every single mom is not out here thirsting and lusting after your husband. You know, he's fat and boring anyway. We're not lusting after him. Just, we are not lusting after your man. Some women are, but a lot of women are not. So I wanted to point those things out. As for my daughter, my situation is different. Her father's engaged. He lives in a different state. So he comes down pretty often. They talk pretty often, they have a good relationship. He's involved in whatever. So our situation is different, but nonetheless, he's still not here every day. So she does respond to and need male energy. So she does. I'm not actively looking. I am also an only child, sort of. My dad passed away when she was a baby. My uncle passed away when she was a baby. I don't know if either one of them would have been the best role model. To be honest. God bless the dead, whatever. But I do have a brother, but we're cool, but we're not close. We didn't grow up together. These are all my dad's kids, and we didn't really even know each other until my dad passed. We knew of each other, but we didn't know each other. And he lives in Detroit. Okay. So my male friends are around, and they, of course, will look out, and provide some male energy. But I noticed the way, even at school, there's so many female teachers. Mm-hmm. So, I noticed the way that she responds differently to male energy. And, men, for some reason, can get those kids right together. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, can you da-da-da-da? And they're like, hey, do that. And they're like, they're gone. They're doing it. And so it is, the alpha maleness is completely, the alpha male energy is completely different. So those are the things that that stood out most to me. And then in terms of my experience, which is a little different than Casey's, and maybe most women, because a lot of women do have present men. I don't want to discount the men who are present, albeit maybe not in the house or every day, because just by virtue of the separation. Mm-hmm. But not every man is absent either. So I want to point that out too.
Okay.
Great points. Yeah, well, I want to speak from, I don't have children, but I was raised by a single mother. And I am kind of like Joy. I'm sort of an only child, but I did know my other siblings and grew up with them. But I was fortunate enough to have that male energy in different places. But when it's not consistent, I would agree with Joy that you, as a kid, you would seek it. And my mom would say that she would notice it if she dated someone and maybe it had been a while since I've seen my dad, or that I would seek it. But she would jump in immediately to separate that if she was in a relationship, because one, I may not even get to meet the guy she was in a relationship. That's one thing, because you didn't come around unless she was ready for you to be serious. I may never, ever know you. I'm just recently finding out about somebody she dated years ago when I was a little kid that my friend knew and I didn't even know. But she didn't keep that around me. But she also had positive male friends who were in my life and showed up. My dad was around, but I also had grandparents. So I got to see my granddad every day after school because my grandparents were my babysitter after school. And then I had a granddad who lived around the corner who was just loved me to death. So I had that, and I had an uncle. So I was quite fortunate to have family members, but also safe family members, and also a couple of guys from church who took an interest in the kids at church who were safe, because I want to keep pointing that out. Safety, safety, safety. And that was a number one thing for my mother. If you were a male and took interest, she immediately wanted to know why. what are you doing? Why are you talking to her? And what is this about? And if you had an interest, she was still watching. So I did have another man who took an interest in me for my grades and things like that. But those influences shape who I am to look and say, there are good men out here. There will be good men when I get older, and here is what you look for. Now, what I noticed in the posts, I would say would be the accountability thing. It was interesting. They were like, don't travel, get out, do what you want to do. Don't be held down by a single mom. Well, guess what? Single moms travel. Single moms do what they need to do. As a matter of fact, when I grew up, my mom said, here is your trip with the kids. Here's our trip together. Now here's a trip Chloe doesn't get to go on, because guess what? You're a kid. And grown people need grown people stuff and need their own things in their own lives, so I can be a better person for you. And she did that. So, and then to say as if kids are baggage was offensive to me, because that's basically what you're saying. If you're a single woman and you have kids, then kids are baggage. Well, then what if you're a single father? Many of you have the flexibility to only see your kids on the weekends or see them every other weekend. And that's the only time you spend with them is your allotted time, where the single mom is with them day in, day out, 24/7. So to say that that's baggage is seriously offensive. And it's to say, and how dare you say that it's too much. Now, to the person who felt like a younger child was ruining their relationship, on the flip side, mothers have to prioritize or see, is this a situation where the person I'm dating is spoiled and wants full attention? Because if that's the case, this person should not date a person with children, because you will not get attention 24/7. But also, you may need to check yourself, period, for even people without kids. Because as a single person, I don't have all day to take care of you either. Get a life, find some shit, find some hobbies. I don't have all day to worry about all your needs 24/7. And it sounded like a lot of selfishness. Now, if you do have a kid that's ruining the relationship per se, have a conversation with your partner, have some boundaries set up, and also talk to the kid. The kid just might be jealous. That could be all it is. And remind the kid, hey, I'm here to add to, not take from.
Right. And my whole point was to talk to single mothers, because single mothers are out here by themselves. And some of them don't have us big aunties to just keep it real with them, to keep it straight with them.
Right.
And that's what I really want you guys to know. As a single mother, please know that your kids are paying attention. They are paying attention. And if you are always only looking for love, only looking for sex, and you're neglecting your kids, it's going to affect them. So that is why I created this video. Don't keep saying ain't no good man out there and you just keep searching for a good man. Take care of your kids first. Make sure they're getting what they need first. And then you start looking for love. I'm not saying you don't deserve love, but some women, that's all you're focused on. You got to focus on your kids because you brought them here, and you got to focus on yourself and then look for love. So that's one of the things I really wanted to point out to these single mothers. So as the single moms, what would you like to say to single mothers that are struggling out there? Because you guys really know. And I know you went through the ups and the downs and wanting love. And how did you deal with that? Please give these single mothers some real advice. Because I don't have any kids. So I don't want them to be like, she need to shut up because she ain't got no kids. So please, with the single moms, please give some advice to other single mothers that are really going through it.
One thing I want to say is, sometimes if your child is acting out towards your partner, or when your partner is around, maybe pay attention to that. Always pay attention to that.
Always.
Because there could be something that you don't see because your emotions are caught up towards this person. That was one of the things that when I was reading about that person who commented that the girlfriend's 8-year-old child was ruining their relationship. And I was thinking to myself, probably because that child knows that you're a piece of trash. And I hope mom pays attention to that and gets rid of you, because it's not the child ruining your relationship, it's the child pulling your card, and he knows what you want.
What you said.
Because kids can be like dogs. If they keep jumping up, sitting in between y'all and won't let y'all ever touch or do anything, that's a sign. If your kid says something crazy about the person, pay attention. But when my mom said I was like that, if I didn't like somebody, there was no, we're going to sit right next to each other. And I know the main person she was talking about, because no, I did not like him. And I still remember that guy. Nope, didn't like him, and I was right. Kids still have an innocent sense of sensing when there's bad energy.
Based on when that comment was posted, the child would be 9 now. And so what kind of a grown adult man is beefing with an 8-year-old? Because I guarantee you there's some passive aggressive behavior towards this child. And now the child really doesn't like you. You know, it's you feel like you're coming in completely innocent, and you're not. I mean, be real. You know, you acting a way towards this baby. But also women, and I'm going to speak from my personal perspective, so I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just saying, I know where I was during the time when I was actively dating and my kids were younger. You know, I was carrying some baggage from one relationship to another, because I had this idea of what a family should look like. There should be a man, a woman, and the kids. And so I was looking for this stereotype of family for a long time, until it finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I've noticed we are good when it's just us. You know, my money's not short. I'm not worrying about bills being paid. I'm not worrying about who's out here doing what with whom behind my back. I'm good. I'm happier when it's just us. I can date for fun and not for a relationship and be good. And so when I figured out that was the case, then that's what I was doing. But, you know, I'm constantly working on me, on my wholeness, on, you know, trauma I've experienced and things like that. We can't keep expecting women to just be whole. She's not crazy. She has things. Everyone has things that they're bringing into a relationship that need to be dealt with. And stop beating up on women, you know, and I mean that physically as well as verbally. Stop criticizing women because they want to be in a relationship. You want to have sex with them, but we don't dog you for it.
Thank you.
So why are you being critical of women who they had a child, the relationship didn't work, or maybe the partner passed away? Let's think about that also.
Yeah.
And too,
let's look at the mortality rate of
all these wars. With all these wars, there's so many single parents on both sides. You know,
Right.
Single parents, men and women. There are a lot of widowers.
Yes. So
There
we
are.
didn't get here just because we went from relationship to relationship. Some people have lost partners.
Yes.
So we got to stop all that too.
And sometimes your kids may be acting out not because of you, but maybe because the mom may even have issues, because I've seen it where mom may pour all her energy into whomever she's dating, and they feel like, oh no, I've lost her again. And so every time mom dates somebody, the kid may take it as a loss, because they know everything now is going to be different again. She's going to bring this man in, life is going to change, and that's disruptive to a child. So it could be the kid is actually acting out, but it could be because the mom is constantly looking for love and not considering the needs of the child, or necessarily bringing someone in that shouldn't be brought in all the time.
I would say too, to single moms, you know, work on healing, you know, as Casey started talking about, work on healing. Like, and that's for everybody really, but since we're talking specifically to single moms, because other people have stuff too, men have stuff too. And there was no smoke for the men, side note. in those comments. There's no smoke for single dads. There was no, reciprocity for single dads. Like, okay, what about single dads? Then does that change the disposition? Because men, probably more so than women, are looking for, if their mom isn't involved, or the mom is kind of cracked out or whatever, they are looking for a replacement mommy. They love to drop their kids off with you. Love it. Even your male friends love to drop their kids off. If they're in another state. Like, I had a friend here, and he brought his son here, and the mom was in another state. They love to drop. They go ahead, take them.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy too. It's not like they have a vetting process, or they have to think about.
No, they don't vet.
Moms are like, well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me see. Let's see how he feels around you, or she feels around. We got a whole process. The men, like, I'll be back. Mm-hmm. That's how they are. And I'm telling you, even just friends when you're not dating, but do specifically, to women, to single moms, take the time to heal, whether that's therapy, finding some time for yourself. Because again, as Chloe pointed out earlier, single moms do travel. I love travel. I got to get out of here. I have my trip. I have our trip, just like her mom did. And it's two different things, because I got to have my adult time. Even if it's not travel, I have to have my adult time. Even if it's brunch with the girls, I have to have my time. So, find time for yourself, even if it's, taking a time out, a bath after the kids go to sleep. Just having that time for yourself, binge watching movies after they go to sleep. Carve out the time, because it will make you a better you. You have to be a better you. And don't be afraid to separate from someone who's toxic. I mean, we said that most women are thirsty, but for the women who are thirsty, you have to unthirst some kind of way, because you are prioritizing men and relationships over your children, and they do feel it. It does impact them, and it does impact your relationship too and with them. So, make sure you're paying attention to your kids and to yourself. But then being that thirsty makes you blind to that person. So don't be blind to that person. Is this person a good fit in your life? Not just for you, but for your kids if they're younger. Yeah. I mean, everybody feels that burn, like, I'm like, oh man, I would love to be partnered or coupled or whatever, but I'm not in a hurry. Mm-hmm. I mean, what will be, because my daughter I know she's going to be on the first thing smoking. She can't wait. And I'm like, all right, well, once that happens, then what? I would love to have someone. I'm here for everyone else, but I love to have someone here for me.
Right.
Obviously for each other, but
I want to piggyback off that thirsty thing. And this is for a lot of women who really need to hear this. If you do not love yourself, if you do not face your demons, your issues before you date, you will fall for the biggest bullshit out here. So you got to really know yourself fully. If you do not, you will lose yourself in anybody. And it doesn't even matter about kids or anything. What you will do is you will let some man move in. You will take care of them, treat them like a king, cook steak and baked potatoes for them while your kids is eating hot dogs.
Yeah.
And it's watching you. So this is very important. When you have young boys and they're watching you be this thirsty, then
and girls.
Yeah, but let me just say about the men. What happens is
boys react a little bit differently. Yeah.
Men start to believe that that's what women want. And then they go out and repeat that behavior. And so when you're complaining that there's no good men, sometimes you're raising the boy to be no good because of your behavior. Now, when it comes to women, like how Joy was saying, little girls, they start to believe that this is what they're supposed to receive.
This model of behavior.
Yes, they model your behavior. So if you want your daughter to be, successful and to be strong out there, then you have to be the example. Otherwise, she's going to say, oh, I got to be like mommy. Anything could come in here. I'll take care of him. He doesn't have to pay the bills. He don't have to contribute. He don't even have to do anything with my kids. I'm just going to give him my all because that's what you're doing. So
and that's what we call a homosexual.
Okay. Oh.
Homosexual.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the homosexual slip in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He throw homeless in the mud. He ain't got a pot in the window, and you don't let him slip in the door. He ain't going nowhere either. He's like a squatter.
Yeah. And you're saying a hobosexual, right?
Hobo. H-O-B-O.
H-O-B-O. So that's basically a homeless person who will just, come in and
your life.
Yep. Come in, pay 5 minutes of attention to you and suck up everything like a leech,
Squatters, right?
Love squatters.
Yeah, squatters.
Squatters,
They
right?
just come and squat in your love life.
No, thank you.
But getting back to what you just said, Charlotte, I believe that may be why we saw a lot of comments of hurt men and why they shouldn't date. They wouldn't ever date a single woman. They may have had a mother who was a single mother who did some of the things you're saying, who gave everything to the man, but left them with nothing emotionally or material-wise. Like they gave the man steak, y'all get hot dogs. Mm-hmm. Or everything was activities where whatever he wanted to do and you guys come along, and then say, oh, I'm spending time with y'all. No, that's not spending time. But I get that hurt from that too. I would also like to say that if you want to see good men, help contribute to raising good men, and you may find them. And also, please stop using your sons as your boyfriends. They are not. The codependency on the sons is off the chain, which also is probably leading to some of the angry remarks we saw on there, because the single moms depend on them for everything emotionally. And it's not right. You can't become so enmeshed in your children that you forget who you are.
Mm-hmm. What's that movie with Laz Alonso and Paula Patton?
Jump in the Broom.
Jump in the Broom.
Ooh, child. That's a perfect example of the toxic relationship between a single mom and the son. He didn't even want to bring nobody around that woman. Because look how she carried on and cut the fool. She just was a whole clown.
That goes back to, if you don't love yourself, if you don't know yourself, if you don't face your demons, you will become dependent. And there's some women out there who you are looking at your son and he is your everything, almost to a point where the only thing you're not doing is sleeping with them. And that's really scary. And you got to really ask yourself, think about it. This is not about judgment. We are your aunties. We are coming to you and we're trying to make sure that you can be aware, because sometimes you're not aware. And other people who may know it may not tell you this because they don't care about you. They talk about you behind your back. They don't want good for you. So the good thing is we don't know you. You don't know us. We don't know you. We're only giving you the truth. It's for you to take it in and kind of ask yourself, is this me? And really just think about it. Because I'm telling you, it makes a difference.
And
if you only had date nights with your son, it's a problem. If that's your date night.
I love one of my favorite things to say to butthurt men is get mad at your mammy. Get mad at her. Because that's really all I see is a big bowl of bullshit and mommy issues.
Mm-hmm. That's what I really do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to say to women, be intentional about how you're raising your sons. Be intentional about the kind of person that you are exempling for your daughters, and be unapologetic about what you want in a partner. Don't let these struggle love fools try to convince you to compromise and give up on what you want. If you want a man that has a good job and benefits, blue collar, white collar, whichever way, then want that. You don't need to struggle with him until he get on his feet, or let him, be the type of person with an air mattress and no furniture, and he between
Over
jobs,
again.
that kind of thing. You don't have to settle for that. If that means that you have to be alone for a little while, so be it. Just
Or
be
you don't have to let him be in these streets fucking until he get tired of fucking, and then he come ready to settle down with his dirty dick. We ain't got to go.
Yeah, you don't need to win the I Outlasted award.
That's right. That's right. And also turn off these struggle love movies. Struggle love.
Please.
They're for entertainment purposes only. Not real life.
Don't watch Baby Boy for the 512th time.
Exactly. Thank you so much, ladies. I would love to have you guys on again for another subject, in the future, because I really love what you guys are bringing to the table. And, I have no kids. And so sometimes when I'm talking to single moms, I know that they can't hear it. So I really love the fact that you guys are coming from an authentic place. You have kids. It's not to say that us single women with no kids, we don't know what we're talking about. I got 6 nephews and we were kids ourselves. It's just that it helps to have that extra support, because maybe they can understand where you're coming from more than they can from us, because we don't have any kids. But
and shout out to my stepdad who married a single woman with a kid. But I just want to say that.
In mind.
So if you haven't watched that video, go watch the video. I'm going to put it here on the screen. Watch the video, look at the comments, and then come back and watch this video so that you can really understand it. And if you are a single mother, please share this with other single mothers, because I know there's somebody out there that needed to hear this. Okay, so ladies, once again, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And don't forget to tune in to 3BC. 3BC, the podcast is no joke. These ladies, they get it in. The things that they say have me cracking up. So make sure you tune in to 3BC, and that's on the Kazukian Network.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And on streaming platforms too. So all of the streaming platforms, Stitcher, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, and so on.
Okay, I'll put the link in the description so that you guys can just click on it and go there and enjoy these lovely ladies. Thank you guys so much again. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subs before the end of this Ratchet 2020. If you're watching this on my Facebook page, please like my page and share. If you're watching this on my IGTV, please follow and share. And if you like this t-shirt, please go to Season Tees. I'm going to put that also in the link. It's still my birthday week, so I had to
Happy birthday.